You're still on to the Polity, and this is KAFTAN Television. And I have my guest, like I said before, and his name is Moses Kolawole Obisesan. He's an ambassador. And I'd like to welcome you once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dayo.
Nice to have you. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
And now, so we go into the topic for today. Who is E.K. Clarke, by your understanding?
Wow. Thank you for inviting me. E.K. Clarke is what I would just describe as a big Iroko tree of South-South.
Of South-South.
Yeah. Yeah, I just put him to be of South-South, but actually is one of the big tall tree in this country. You know, he's been around for many years. I mean, 97. You know.
Yeah, 97.
God actually blessed him with, I mean, good ripe old age.
Yes, and strength, good health.
Strength,
because up until the end,
yeah,
he was active.
He kept fighting.
Yes,
I was with him some years back. We took some of the political problems and problems of this country, we took to him because I know that we knew that he has a voice. He could speak to anybody, no matter who whose ox is God. He speaks to you. He tells you very fearlessly, but very honestly. And he's also not a very he's not a very easy politician. He doesn't dance around things. He just tells you, you know what, this is not fair. This is not possible. This should not be. You know, so it's a very down to earth person. And I remember the time we visited him at his Asokoro residence, and you just see the mecca of some sorts in his house. As people are coming in, the other ones are going out. Niger Delta youths are coming in, the political people. I say, wow, how is this man able to rest? You know, he sat somewhere and everybody will come. This one is snapping pictures. That one is. I say, wow. In fact, then I was scared for him. I said, this one will not last long. You know, and
that's like how many years back?
It will be like up to 5 years.
Right, okay.
It's a while I saw
it was
him.
about like 92 at the time.
Yeah, thereabout. And so for me, you know, I love the way he speaks, and they respect him. If I tell you the caliber of people who come, all of these, even some of the Niger Delta militants and all, they come there, he talk to them. There's none of them, they respect him. They know that they take him as father who is able to, who understands their pain, and who also understands why they need to agitate sometimes. He doesn't treat them like, why are you doing this? He just talk to them like like son. E.K. Clarke, and you know, he's also been around for a long time. He's been the minister, what we call Minister for Information now. You know, as at that time it is actually called Federal Commissioner and all of that. He's been leader of PANDEF, you know. He's been leader of Niger. Quite a load of leadership role that he has played, and he played them seamlessly. He didn't carry the toga on his head, and he just sits down in the general place where every one of us interacted with him. Wow. So for me, it's a huge loss, not only to Niger Delta, but also to the country as a whole. May God rest his soul.
All right. So now E.K. Clarke will be referred to in the past right now. I mean, that's life. Life is it's fleeting.
Ephemeral.
It's fleeting, ephemeral. You're here today, you're no longer around tomorrow. And that's what it is. And that's what it is for everybody at some point in time. And so, well, E.K. Clarke will definitely miss you. Will miss you a whole lot because of some of the footprints that you have put on the sands of time. Now, so you just said you had an opportunity of meeting with him, and he came across as open, accessible,
correct,
and someone who could mobilize the people. And we saw all that. I mean, when he felt, for example, that the voice of the South, of the Niger Delta needed to be heard much more loudly, much more stridently, he was part of putting together PANDEF, the Pan Niger Delta forum.
Yeah.
And he has used that platform a whole lot to try to bring the pains of the Niger Delta people to the consciousness of not just Nigeria, but even beyond the shores of this country. But now he's dead. I don't know, would that be, do you think that that will be the end of what he represented, what he stood for concerning the fight to emancipate the people of the Niger Delta? Do you think that someone else will be in a position to step in and to really fill his space?
Okay, first I really want to really send my sincere condolence, to the people of Niger Delta, to his immediate family, and of course, even to the president of the country to lose such a colossal, So, like I said, may God rest his soul. Now, sincerely, is a lion in the jungle, and taking away lion, not that there are no other cats in the jungle, but you will know that something is missing. That's the truth. He's a fearless, speaker, is
very articulate, even for his age.
Even for his age. Yeah. He's very articulate. He understands what he wants to say. Yeah. And he says it without missing words.
And I mean, he was someone who could stand up to, like, Obasanjo, for example.
Anybody. He speaks to anybody. He won't even do as if he's talking to Obasanjo. He just speaks, just on this matter, no, this is not correct, this is not. That's the way he is. Now, they will surely miss him in Niger Delta. Honestly, there's no way you can have him go and quickly his shoes is filled. It's a very big size shoe. It will not be easy for anybody, even former president, to fill, because you see, he wasn't speaking like any political person. There was no trying to rub it or trying to paint it.
So it was more of a leader, a statesman.
Yes, a statesman. So he wasn't just talking like, I'm a Niger Delta leader. No, he's a statesman. He's telling you, no, this is not good for our coming together, for the entire unity of the country, especially as it affects these people. So it's a voice that you can count on. It's a voice that Mr. President can count on, and anybody in leadership, position. So to be very honest to you, we're going to miss him. The role and his space is surely going to be missed. Having said that, nature doesn't allow a vacuum. Now, so when you have a vacuum, and what nature does is that he finds a way to fill it up.
Right.
Now, whether he's going to fill it adequately is a different ballgame. But it's filled up anyway.
It's filled up.
So for me, I know that somebody will rise up there to really be able to become a true leader like that. Yeah. Someone that jumps at me, but it's going to take a while because he's still pretty young. If you look at 97 and his age, I mean, somebody that quickly, one of the people that rightly come to mind is like Goodluck Jonathan. But because of the age difference and all of that, it's going to take a long. You know why I said that? Goodluck, you see, because of that singular saying that, my ambition does not worth the blood of any Nigerian. That has made him to become like a rallying point for so many other political leaders that are going to come. So over time, he could grow into that, because people see him like, okay, he's willing to jettison himself. I'm talking about from Niger Delta now.
Yes.
I'm talking about Niger Delta now. He's willing to actually, he's not thinking of only himself or even himself first. He want to think about others first and then him. And that is very rare, whether you see it or not, because I'm a player in this space. I understand that people will always, first of all, think of themselves. We have a lot of people, leaders who would have been statesmen, who would have actually been better leaders. Let me just use that word, but just because they want certain things for themselves first, is denying them that very role.
All right, so we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Let's connect with my other guest. I haven't introduced before now. He's Bode Gbadebo. He's the online editor for leadership newspapers. So let's get connected with Bode via Zoom. All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Unmute your mic or something.
Hello, good afternoon. I can hear you.
Can you unmute yourself? Okay. Okay, so after this break, we hope that you will have a better connectivity. We'll go on a break briefly.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTANTV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTANTV, imagine a beautiful world.
While wrapping up the day, unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with KAFTANTV 7 p.m. news.
Good to have you join us on KAFTAN News at 7.
Nigerians are living in abject 5%.
Our young people rehearse the harmony symphony.
It's good to have you join us on KAFTANTV News at 7.
We found that the turnaround was not actually sufficient.
National, foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching. Join us again at
KAFTANTV News.
I thought of that originally from the beginning, but I don't know. welcome back. You're still on to the Polity from KAFTAN TV, King Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network Television. And we've been talking about the national, very nationalistic leader, Clarke, who died at 97. We're trying to take a look at what he stood for and how soon his space can be filled up. Even though we agree, and my guest has said that it might be a tall order trying to fill his space, but again, in the same breath, he says, nature abhors a vacuum, and one way or the other, nature will find a replacement. It might not be perfect immediately, but definitely, and there will be a replacement, and he's already suggesting a name. And just in case you're out there and you think you want to be a part of this, the line is being put open right now, 08029938365, so you can also weigh in on what we're doing here. And so, Clarke, well-known Ijaw leader, he had, he had stamped his record on the national setting before he now really began to take particular interest in the plight of his Ijaw people. And when you talk about Ijaw, you also talk about the Niger Delta people as a whole. And that's what he has devoted his last years on earth to. Correct. This is somebody who has demonstrated very serious opposition to injustice. His age notwithstanding, in his 90s until 97 that he died, he stood up. He was vociferous. He was consistent. He was there whenever there was a need to stand up for injustice anywhere, but particularly injustice against the Ijaw or the Niger Delta people, who, even the world knows that they have suffered tremendously because of the oil exploration activities in their area and all the devastation that has happened. And that has been a major topic. And we might just be connecting with our guest via Zoom right now if it's ready. If it's not ready, we'll just go on here. And can you hear me?
Obisesan, the black comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's KAFTANTV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching KAFTANTV.
Please keep watching KAFTANTV. It is the best TV station in the country. They're doing an amazing job.
A program, and we will be connecting with my other guest, Ben Bode, who is the online editor of leadership newspapers. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Oh, great. Good to have you, Bode.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here.
All right. So That's my other guest coming live via Zoom. And so quickly, I get back to you, Bode, if you're there. Let's get back to you straight away now. I'll be asking. Very good. So you have heard about the death of E.K. Clarke. I believe you have heard about the death of E.K. Clarke.
Sure, it's all over the news.
Oh, okay, great. So what will you remember him for?
Well, I'll remember Papa E.K. Clarke as a nationalist that he was. He was a nationalist. And I remember vividly, he was one of the prominent advocates of true federalism. And of course, his description would be incomplete without saying he was the foremost idiot leader who was always championing the rights of the Niger Delta people. Yeah. So he'll be greatly missed as a statesman.
Okay, so what do you think the feeling will be within the Niger Delta right now?
Of course, it will be that of a solemn. It will be solemn. The feeling will be solemn because they've lost, an illustrious son and father. He was an illustrious son of the Niger Delta. He was the father of the Niger Delta as a people, and of course, the feeling will be that of like the guests in the studio. You say you nominated already. The thinking will be who will now fill is a big shoes because, of course, it was their mouthpiece, it was their advocate, it was everything to them for many years.
All right, I'll take this last one before I get back into the studio. While you also just stay right there, I will get back again. But let me take this last one for this period. Now, in some quarters, the late E.K. Clarke was viewed as an irritant. Do you believe this? And was it right for him to be viewed that way?
Well, I think it depends from which prison you are being from which angle of the prison you are being from. And there is no human being that can ever be perfect. Sure. Definitely, he had his shortcomings. But then, I can tell you his contribution to national development outweigh whatever, mistake he might have made in the course of his advocacy for his people, for the nation as a whole. And, for everything Nigeria, there are a lot of things about him that people didn't even know. He has a lot of contribution to our educational development, resource control for his people, a lot of things. He was a lawyer. He was a senator in the aborted Second Republic.
And so many, and so on and so forth.
He was everything. So he has made his contribution. He has paid his dues. So he might not be perfect, but then I can tell you confidently that his contribution to national development outweigh any mistake he might have made during his advocacy.
Not necessarily mistakes, but for example, he was one person who would not submit to any form of any appearance whatsoever of subjugation by any other tribe or any other sections of this country.
Of course, that was within his rights.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll leave it there for now. Just hold on. Just stay there, and then we'll get back again.
All right.
All right. So, Moses, I was just saying to Bode that one of the things that probably would be remembered concerning E.K. Clarke was that he was one person who would not accept subjugation by any other section of the country, right?
For sure. like you see, is actually a federal minister, federal commissioner for information. What you call minister for information now.
Yeah.
You know, many years back.
And he was even a senator too.
So he's seen it all. Some of the people, some of the players right now were kids when he was playing. So he speaks to them like, look, listen, let me tell you what it should be. And again, you see, once you mean well, once you are honest, once you are not looking for any material gain for yourself, you become larger than life. Because the thing is, if I'm speaking and my people know that I'm speaking for them, look, that's him there, fearless. That's the way he goes about things. You know, fantastic man. So we took a national issue to him. I mean, then PDP, and we approached him and we told him, look at what, I mean, some of the things that are growing here and there and all that, and he was able to address them squarely, you know. So a couple of times, I mean, I had interaction with him a couple of times, not just once, and for me, I just saw a man who has sold himself to better the lot of his people. Look, such person, people are willing to die for. That was it. Because initially I was thinking, why do you allow, you know, all sort of people to swim into you and all that? They couldn't do him any harm because the guy was like a small god for them. And not matching their head, but speaking for them and telling them, I will speak truth to power. When you are hearing speaking truth to power, Clarke did incredible about that. There's nobody he has not spoken to, nobody. Even when Good Luck was there, he would tell you that certain things shouldn't be. He would tell his own people, look, Good Luck, you're doing this, it's not right, you can't do this, or you can't. That's it. Obasanjo, he will speak to anybody because he means well for the country first, for his people second, before himself. So, but if you turn it the other way around, and with all due respect, we have some of the political leaders, they turn it the other way around. First themselves, second for maybe their region, and then before the country. And once it's like that, people can see. Because if it is for yourself, first of all, you have people who will disagree with you right there at that your small team. Because they just feel like, no, even when it shouldn't be you, you're doing everything to screw it to yourself. A very major, what's it called, name that actually jumped to my own mind, you know, that I would really want to plead with. I can't force him because he's a leader in his own right, but I can appeal to him. You know, will be a former vice president.
All right.
You know, you know why I would say that? We need some of these leaders to just see that God has blessed you. Out of 230 million Nigerians, you've become the vice president. If he tweak it right now and just say, you know what, I want to live for the people, you will be shocked where he can get to. Honestly. Yeah. Even what he's looking for, he will get it more in full. Because the people will see the sincerity, they will see that, look, it's not about him. It's no
longer for himself.
Yes, it's no longer for himself. That's what Clarke did. Clarke, he will give you money. The little resources that he has, he shared it. Even when because he shared it, people who will bring forth, they will meet his need. Yeah. He was never in want. That's the kind of things that we need leaders like him to rise up in all of the geopolitical zones, not just whether South, when you're here, when you're saying who is going to feed it. I want to see a Clarke emerge in every part, a sincere Clarke, because Clarke was sincere.
So, let's pray that every geopolitical zone will get a sincere Clarke.
Correct.
That's where we're going to leave this first section. And indeed, fare thee well, dear Clarke, fare thee well as you go. We pray that God will grant you your soul sweet repose, and grant your immediate family the strength to bear the loss. And of course, even to Nigeria, it's huge. The loss is huge.
Yeah.
But of course, at one point, we all must go. He has even had a tremendous helping of longevity.
Yeah.
So at this point, bye-bye, and we'll pray and hope for the best for the South people and on a general level, Nigeria.
Yeah.
There will always be other Clarkes.
Yeah.
And so at this point, let's get to the second matter, and it has to do with USAID. USAID.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a huge. Let's go back. Let's go to that after this break. Very short break, just a breather.
In a world where information is vital to every individual, a platform where technology is a medium to pass information, you can always catch up on all information written in the newspapers, even without having one. Join us on The Press.
Reaching live from the Abuja studios.
On The Punch for this morning, the Blueprint newspaper, Nigerian Tribune this morning.
As we give you information and opinions about current events.
All right, welcome back to KAFTAN TV, King Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network Television. My name remains Dayo Omoogun, and we're going into the second session of this program, and we're talking right now about USAID and the reports, very damning allegations of interference, if you like, of crisis mongering, crisis sponsorship, funding. That's what it is. Just last week, was it? A U.S. congressman took off the lead from secrets, what you might refer to as some open secret, which many people had tried to allude to for quite some time, but they didn't quite have their finger on it. But that day, the congressman said clearly that the USAID has been used over time to fund crisis from around the world. And that was very damning. Meanwhile, let's get some background. About January, I guess the last week in January or so, or third week in January, the CDS, Chief of Defense Staff General Chris Musa, did say that it looked as if Boko Haram was being funded internationally, that they had looked at their ability to sustain themselves for this long. They had looked at several other factors, their ability to train their people, their personnel, and they were wondering how this is possible without some external support. And so the man put that on I remember clearly that I saw that in the Daily Trust of that day, and there was a topic for discussion even right on this program. And we did see that indeed there was some sense in what he was saying. And so this is some sort of corroboration coming from the U.S. Congressman Perry Scott, or Scott Perry. And then, so what will you say to this? Bode, if you are there, if you're connected. All right, wonderful. Now, Bode, how do you receive the information that a U.S. agency may have been involved all along in supporting the crisis? I mean, in what you could call an aiding and abetting system, in a thing you could call running with the dogs and, how do you say it now? Running with the dog, I mean, hunting with the dogs and running with the hounds or something like that. So what's your take here?
Well, for me, it's not surprising that such allegation came from the U.S. congressman, because all along there has been a pattern. You just alluded to what the Chief of Defense Staff, General Chris Musa, said some time ago in January, that he was wondering why Boko Haram has remained active for close to 20 years. So, which suggests there is international connection. So it's not surprising at all. For me, what is surprising is that a U.S. agency like USAID could be used for such nefarious activity. But for some years now, if you cast your mind back, you also recall that there was a time NGOs were suspended in the Northeast.
Correct.
Because there was suspicion that they were, assisting the terrorists. And at a point, the Borno State government also said, "Would come before you come here to deliver aid to displaced persons. Let's know what you are doing and where you're getting your funding from." But now that on the international thing, the allegation surfaced again by a U.S. congressman called Scott Perry. There are two ways to this. There's a school of thought. The current Donald Trump administration is actually looking for reasons to disband the USAID at all costs. And that was why the allegation came that USAID's funds and aid were being diverted to terrorists.
Okay.
I know what the Trump administration had planned also all along, that, USAID should go. But then, on the other hand, we should not dismiss this allegation with just a wave of hand. Because I've heard people also saying, why now? Why is Scott Perry making these allegations now? Right. Ordinarily you will ask yourself, why is he talking now? He has been in the Congress for how many years? Or why is he talking now? And we have been battling with Boko Haram terrorists for about 16 years now, since 2009. Just 4 years shy of 2 decades. So why is he coming out now to say the USAID was being used to fund Boko Haram terrorism?
Could it mean that the environment is more receptive to this kind of revelation now, considering the entry of Donald Trump as the
new administration? Yeah, and that's more reason why I would say we should not discard the allegation with just a wave of hand. The Nigerian government, at the level of the executive and the highest legislative body, that's the National Assembly, must launch an investigation into this allegation so that we get to the root of the matter.
All right.
Until we investigate and we are sure whether the allegation is true or false before we can make informed decisions. But now, all kinds of commentaries are coming up. And you can't just say it is true or not, because there is a pattern, like I said earlier. Western government, there is a history that Western government fund crisis in developing countries to change government. I know you are aware of this. Wow. They do this to change government. They also do this for economic reasons. The US could be using USAID for economic reasons to fund terrorism in Nigeria, because we still go back to them to buy arms.
So, okay, let me take it away from you and go to the studio with Moses, Ambassador Moses. See, you heard him. Okay. Now, he's been saying that indeed that there's a need for investigation at our national level to be sure about what's happening. And then he's also questioning, why is this revelation coming from the congressman now? And I'm saying it's possible that the environment is more conducive to him because of the coming of Donald Trump. And he's also saying that Western governments have been known to get involved in this kind of thing in several places. In actual fact, right now, there is a feeling of gratitude to Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, that he did not insist on anything and he bowed out quietly, because from all these revelations, some people are putting 2 and 2 together to say that if he had insisted, then the wish of those people would have come to manifestation, which was to dismember this country, set the nation on fire, and all that. So, let's have you.
Yeah, I agree with him completely on that, in that part. Because if you see what happened to Saddam Hussein.
Exactly.
Saddam Hussein, they said, you know what, they were stockpiling weapon of mass destruction and all of that, and they needed to just get rid of mass. At the end,
there was no weapons.
Nothing. Just because this man will not bow to the wishes of the Western world. That's all. Nothing else.
Just the same case in Libya.
In Libya, you understand? So what I tell anybody is that the fact that they have made this revelation, take it with a pinch of salt. Just generally go back to your own drawing board. Look at whatever. Sincerely, really, if you look at the Boko Haram and how they've been able to sustain the fight for so long.
16 years.
For so long. Not only recruitment, maintaining the guys, the soldiers on the field, getting them arms and ammunition, and also giving them, just keeping their families and all of their work together for 16 whole years. It's not. And if you see the weapon, sometimes you see those video clips going around. It's like massive stuff that they will just take. Warehouse when they bring in stuff. There must be. When the chief of defense staff, when he was talking about the fact that there is surely an it looks very, very clearly like there is actually an international dimension. I believe it. Now, but how it plays out, what they are trying to achieve, where they want to go with the storyline is where I don't know. Because for a long time, I initially worked with an international NGO in the past, and I know that, some of those NGOs can really be, they can actually give a lifeline to some. In so many whatever. I worked with maybe an NGO that was taking charge of HIV/AIDS, people and all of that many years, about 10, 20 years back. And I know that if you just suddenly say all of this funding withdrawn, you want to take your call.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Hello?
Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome. Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, the case we are talking about is we agree that all those things they were giving to our NGOs, it was a very good incentive to help independent, both health, education, name them. All these our teachers without borders, doctors without borders. But if we look at the real story about the senator of the United States of America, what he said last with the document, people will start asking whether he said the young man there has got all the records, all the evidence, all the proofs that even if you go to record, you prove that it's not that. Now tell me, how do you say? Because that is why I used to say President Donald Trump is the young intelligent young man who said that the young intelligent man who has these are one of the things he mapped out, he showed during his manifesto presentation that this is what he's going to do. And he's moving gradually, eventually, doing those things when he signed all those executive order. And the executive order is working well. Now, it is not there for country to go back to the basics and examine themselves and investigate themselves, find out why a lot of these vices going on in their terrorists, kidnappers, herdsmen, name them. You start asking yourself, if these things were not there, all these things will not happen. So, to me, I support Donald Trump 100% plus. Reason, as far as Trump is concerned, I agree that the court in America said last time that don't do it. But now, when the Honorable Man said that, everybody says, yes. But what is it that, as far as Trump is concerned, I bet you between now and June, what he says will be a reality. People will now speak by themselves. But as long as this is out, so let them cut it off. So let us have peace. Let people go to their farm. Look at what happened in Benue State over the weekend. Is this supposed to happen? Now you ask us, how did they get all this ammunition?
All right.
I think because in one of our records, I saw they saw a propeller in one of these
All right, Mazi. Thank you very much. Now, see, even if they had this mission, my take is that it is not possible for them to accomplish without the local support.
There is no way they will not get local support.
Right.
Let me tell you, the first thing is impoverish the people so that they are susceptible to what you're bringing.
To whatever.
That's it. The moment people are hungry, anything that looks like food, even if there is poison there, they will take it first. Thinking, let me first of all stay alive, then let me start treating the ailment. So when in Africa and in what they will call the third world country or developing country and all of that, the poverty on the ground makes the citizen to want
susceptible to
anything they want to bring. So they play on that. They first of all withdraw resources, okay, so now tell them we're bringing this, but this is what you got to do for it. They will do. So if you are saying that if they're bringing it, if they are not local, whatever, there will always be local if our leaders are not forward thinking. First of all, to fight poverty to a standstill. And it's not rocket science. Honestly, to feed the 230 million Nigerians, to be able to stamp out what we call food insecurity, is not rocket science. Because let me tell you, one man with a tractor can feed millions. Just a tractor. I love what this guy is doing in Niger State. Just brought in tractor and roll it. Now, the more people can be fed, the less they want to join any of those stuff that Boko Haram, all of that. Most of them are willing hands and willing tools because they are hungry in the first place. And those one will dangle. They'll bring the money and say, you know what, you join us, you do X, Y, Z. Look at those times when you had suicide bombers. Some of those young girls that they call, they ask them how much. Peanuts, 5,000 naira. People are willing to blow up the entire village. So what we're saying is that we must start tackling things by ourselves. Look, I love when this government rolled out the fact that there's Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. But I didn't see that component of food security anymore. Because food security means that you're going to just roll out all of those, what's it called? Agricultural mechanization and the rest. Let people feed. Let it be like maybe 1/10 of what they are spending on food is what they will spend. But that is not there. And then, so several Nigerians now are willing tools in the hands of those who want to actually
all
do
right,
violence.
at this point, unfortunately, we don't have so much time. And so, but then you would have to give your last lines on this. Unfortunately, there's so much that we can still talk about. Maybe we'll have some other session on this, but we need to close now because of limitations of time. So what's your closing line?
Yeah, I see well on the last segment, the topic we're just discussing, that there's a disturbing dimension to the revelation, because I'm not aware that Nigerian government has reacted to the story or to the revelation from the US congressman. And if the Nigerian government by now is yet to react, that tells you that that's actually a conspiracy. And I don't know why they are shying away from the responsibility of immediately reacting by launching an investigation into the allegations, so that Nigerians can at least at once, know whether we're being teleguided or not, or whether someone from outside was responsible for a security predicament or not.
All right. Thank you so very much. And then, Ambassador Moses, your closing lines.
Yeah, for me, I just want to tell our president, please rise up to be able to really govern us well. Look at issues that are being thrown around the world. See the one that will benefit Nigeria first. Put this country first, over and beyond any private good. Thank you.
All right, this has to be the size today. I hope that you were well educated, enlightened, and refreshed. So I want to say thank you to everyone who tried to call, whether you succeeded or not. I want to say thank you to my production team, and I want to say a big thank you to my guests. Making the sacrifice to come to the studio, making the sacrifice to get connected via Zoom and all that. I say thank you, and I ask concerning the people of the Niger Delta, please be strong, and we look forward to sincere Clarks for the 6 geopolitical zones, not just the South-South like we had before. That's what Ambassador Obisesan has said. And at this point, it has to be bye-bye. Thank you. My name remains Dayo Omoogun.